Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and surprise and welcome to a special three-part episode for Eidul-Adha. So today we are going to be talking about Eidul-Adha. Now let me just remind you that the last Eid, along with Ramadan, is actually supposed to be your training ground, right? We are learning to control our tongue, to control our thoughts, increase our ibadah. So all these things were like a training ground for us. But with this Eid, this is the time for us to really show and prove our raised iman and put it to action. Cut off those things that are bad for you, all those bad habits, whether it's, some people have a bad habit of cursing, or, you get angry too easily. Maybe it's whatever it is, those bad habits that you have, or even for some of us, for some of the beautiful sisters out there, if if in your heart you've been thinking, I really want to put on the hijab, but maybe I'm scared of what people will think about me, maybe it's time to cut out those thoughts and actually put on the hijab. These are just some suggestions. So it's the beginning of the Hajj season, so we need to know what the origins are, right? Now, the origins of Eidul-Adha, actually a lot of them are rooted in the story of Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam. So let's start learning about him, okay? Now, once upon a time, a person came up to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and said, "Oh, the best of mankind." But Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam actually stopped him there and said, "No, not me. That's Prophet Ibrahim." So this is a very, very special prophet. Not only because, in the Quran, Prophet Muhammad was actually told to look up and take Prophet Ibrahim as an example, but also because of his amazing, amazing life of obedience, submission, and sacrifice. Now, in the Quran, Prophet Ibrahim is mentioned more than 70 times. He is known as the father of the Abrahamic faith, so that's Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. And it's because all three religions actually look up to him as its main prophet. Okay, now Prophet Ibrahim came from Babylon, which is in modern-day Iraq. Prophet Ibrahim was basically guided from when he was young. So he had a father who was actually an idol maker, but he went through so many trials with his father, with the king in his community, until one very significant event happened. And this was when his entire town actually built this huge fire to throw him in, this troublemaker, right? So they actually fling him into the fire, and Allah for the first time makes this amazing miracle for him and makes the fire actually cool for him. So they fling him in, expecting him to burn, and he just comes out walking as if nothing happened. And this was when actually the first person started to believe in him as a prophet, and it was a woman named Sarah who actually became his wife. And then later on there was another man named Lut, who was actually his nephew, who also became a prophet. Now, with Sarah, Prophet Ibrahim eventually went through a lot of persecution, and Allah commanded him to migrate, and then actually ended up in Egypt. In Egypt at that time, there was an evil king who tried to seduce Sarah. But again, Allah protected this special family. In the meantime, the king of Egypt even gave them a servant girl named Hajar. And now with this with the beginning of the journey with Prophet Ibrahim, with his wife Sarah, and also with their slave girl Hajar, begins the tests of obedience and sacrifice. Okay, so this is now the part where you need to tune in. The three of them are now together, and a lot of time passes until Sarah and Prophet Ibrahim become quite elderly, and they don't have any children. So what Sarah does is an amazing act of actually female sacrifice. She actually gives Hajar to Prophet Ibrahim as another wife, so that he would have a successor, right? So Hajar becomes Prophet Ibrahim's second wife, and of course she becomes one of the first reverts that follow him, including Sarah. So these are two beautiful, wonderful, strong revert women. Okay, so now they come together and they have a son called Ismail. You can imagine, the feelings of a father who is already elderly, and this is your first child, how much love he must have for this child. But by the will of Allah, he gets commanded to take Ismail and his wife Hajar and leave them in the middle of nowhere and then trust in Allah. So the three of them travel to where, where is known as Mecca now. And Prophet Ibrahim leaves them there and starts to walk away. You can imagine what Hajar is thinking, it's like, where are you going? Confused, scared. But her being a religious woman, an amazingly strong woman who has been, living with Prophet Ibrahim for several years now, she, out of intuition, probably asked him, and we know that she asked him, Ibrahim, are you doing this because your Lord has commanded you? And when the response confirms this, immediately she's like, okay, then let's submit to this. This is okay, you go on your way, and we have to trust in Allah on this. So Prophet Ibrahim actually goes back to Sarah, but the story of Hajar goes on. She's there in the middle of nowhere with her crying baby, who's becoming dehydrated in the desert, if you can imagine. So she's looking for water, and she's actually been left between these two hills, Safa and Marwa. Okay, so she's going between these two hills looking for water, looking for a caravan, because they're promised, by Allah that He will take care of them, right? So she's thinking that there must be a caravan that's coming to take them somewhere. So she's looking and nothing, until another miracle comes. Allah sends the angel Jibreel to come down and actually with just a touch of his wing right at the feet of Ismail, comes out the spring of Zamzam. MashaAllah. Such a wonderful story, don't you think? Okay, so now let's just go back to Prophet Ibrahim and also Sarah. So now they're going through life after several years again until Prophet Ibrahim is around 95 years old. 95 years old. And he gets this dream from Allah that you need to go back to your wife Hajar and your son Ismail and sacrifice Ismail for me. Now, in Islam, we don't condone human sacrifice. Okay, don't get the wrong idea on this. Okay, this is not something that we condone, but this was a test for Prophet Ibrahim to actually see if he was willing to submit. So, of course, Prophet Ibrahim, being, the great prophet and the great submitter that he was, and we see him, doing this in his whole life, he goes back to his wife and to his son and informs them of this command. And mashallah, look at what Ismail says to his father after being told. He says, Father, if this is the will of Allah, then you must do it. He wasn't scared, but he just submitted himself. Again, raised by a very strong revert woman. So, he's going through these stages of his life, being raised religiously to put all of his trust in Allah. So he submits immediately. And I think about myself, not only having to, let go of things that I love would be hard, but to submit my life. This is like being willingly to be killed, to be killed. I don't know how we would respond, but this amazing boy just submits. So here goes father and son going off to do the impossible, right? You can imagine doing the impossible. So they get to the spot where they think, okay, this is the place. And here comes Shaitan sashaying his way in, right? And starting to put these doubts into the mind of Prophet Ibrahim. What are you doing? This is your firstborn, this is your son. How can you be doing this? But Prophet Ibrahim, having his strength and his will, he actually starts to pelt Shaitan with 7 stones. So Shaitan goes away. And he decides, okay, maybe this place isn't in the right place. Maybe it's a little bit uncomfortable now since Shaitan was here. Okay, let's move to another place. The same thing happens. Then he moves again. The same thing happens. Okay, so he moves 3 times until he gets to the place where he's like, okay, this is the place. And so Ismail lays down. He starts to raise his hand to sacrifice Ismail, and Allah, with his ultimate mercy, seeing that his slave is now, in full submission, ready to do anything that he commands, even, brushing off the waswas and the temptations of Shaitan, he brings the miracle of the ram. So instead of having to sacrifice his son, he's actually given a ram to sacrifice in his place. So this is actually the sacrifice that we commemorate and we think about when it comes to Eidul-Adha. I haven't done justice to it, so you need to go and find more videos, learn more about the life of Prophet Ibrahim and these beautiful stories of these, just tawakkul, such a strong sense of tawakkul and just trusting in Allah. You have to go find them, okay? Don't stop here. I'm just giving you an overview. Okay, so now time has passed. Sarah, in the meantime, has also given birth to Prophet Isaac. Okay, we know who Prophet Isaac is, right? Okay, so from Prophet Isaac come the children of Israel and also of the prophets of Israel. So this means, Prophet David, also Prophet Jesus, yeah? And then from Ismail come all the prophets of the Arabs and the Muslims, sealed by Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who is the last prophet of Allah. Okay, in the Quran, there are several, honors, badges of honor that Prophet Ibrahim has been given. So these are some of them, okay? First, he is named as an intimate friend of Allah, mashallah. Also, the Quran describes him as the Imam of mankind and an ummah all by himself. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was instructed to take him as an example, and this is the only person that Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was told to take an example. Okay, and he was also told to instruct the Muslims to follow the religion of Ibrahim alayhi salam. Okay, now the last bit that I want to share with you is about the Kaaba. Okay, now Kaaba was first, constructed by Prophet Adam alayhi salam. But the way that we see it now, the black box so-called, the way that we see it now is actually constructed by Prophet Ibrahim and his son Ismail. I can't stress this enough. I haven't done justice to this great prophet. You have to go find other resources to learn more about him. But the takeaway that I want you to have from this first episode of the 3 that I'm doing for you for Eidul-Adha is about sacrifice. Really think about yourself this Eidul-Adha and about the sacrifices that you can make. And with that, I leave you with this episode, and let's talk about the next episode. Next episode, I am going to be talking about some of the sunnahs of Eidul-Adha. So what are some of the main acts of worship? What are some of the voluntary around those? So I hope that the next episode is going to inspire you to do more this Eid. I'll see you in the next episode. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.